BIM lounge. Basically what it is, the idea was to create a kind of environment in which we would replicate the integrated project environment that you find in construction companies out there. So that we could then say and teach our students how, in this integrated project environment, various different stakeholders input information so that you finally can create a building information model, which isn't what you see here. This is basically created using the same software that Matthew was talking about. It's with Google SketchUp. A simple model like that then converted into this. This is basically, these are a few images from the BIM lounge. And what you can see is you would say, oh, it's just a normal computer room, slightly differently set up, and that's it. Well, on the surface it is, but basically what goes into these machines is quite different to what you would find in normal machines and what you would normally find in the machines that we have in our CAD lab. Because they are loaded with about 15 different packages. I actually lost track of all the packages that I've installed over the past few months, but there are roughly about 15 different building information modeling packages, including the augmented reality, with which we're playing with students to find out how students can actually learn the interaction between the various different systems that exist in buildings. And as you know, the buildings are becoming more and more complex, and basically what you're having today is more mechanical and electrical installations being wrapped up by the by cladding and brickwork and so on and so on. So it's not anymore a building that exists out there with a little bit of infrastructure. It's more to do with the infrastructure that is surrounded by a building. It's a kind of very different concept to the traditional construction. So what we are able to do, well, one of the things that we have been done, and that was through the EPSRC vacation bursary, where Jennifer Y and myself were the supervisor for one of our undergraduate students, and that is a result of what we're doing in the BIM lounge, is to laser scan the second floor of the library, convert it into the model, and by the way, from this to this, John Scorgi, our student, had to spend the whole summer manually building the model on the laser scanning, and that is on the laser scan, because basically what the laser scanning technology enables you is generating the dot cloud, but dot cloud cannot easily be converted into the model. The technology has not been developed to such an extent that this easy translation would be possible. So he built the model, and then basically based on this model he was playing around with various different settings, showed it to the FMD, they were all impressed, actually showed it even to the Deputy Vice Chancellor, and he was impressed. So we're hoping that in the future more of this work will happen as a result of the BIM lounge and the facilities that we have. The other thing that we're doing, and this is the, forget about me in behind, but it's much more important, is basically the augmented reality bit. What you can do with building information modeling software is build models. What you can't do in the software is actually see very clearly how the different systems interact. And this is where where augmented reality software comes in very handy. What we have here is 11 panels. This is the software we are using in order to demonstrate how the systems interact. You have 11 pedals, and each pedal is recognized by the software as a marker, so that you can assign to each pedal an individual component in a building. Basically, what you have is, with the augmented reality, as I said, you assign individual components of a model to a panel, and in the first instance, what you see is just an outline of a building. You don't see very much here. But if I add individual paddles, to the original one, you can actually see how a building is constructed. And this is not limited just to the buildings. I showed you the building example here because I come from the School of Construction Management and Engineering, but I could easily show you other examples where you would see how, for instance, these things interact when you're building an eye, when you're building an ear, when you're building a human cell. So, various different applications. And again, and that connects very nicely to what Matthew has said. All this can be created in this Google SketchUp, and it's a free software that can be downloaded. And you can see that very easily. You have very different departments in the university that are using the same software and can be applied in various different basically, you have various different applications for the same software. Yeah, so the windows, I think I connected the windows. The doors. The mechanical and electrical, which in a simple house, of course, is not very much, but in a more complicated environment. It could be far more the internals, the insulation, external cladding, and then finally a roof. And you have your model created. Now, that is a complete model, translated and transformed into the augmented reality through these pedals. What the students, of course, can do, and what they're doing as part of our digital technologies model and as part of the Teaching and Learning Development Fund development, is building these models and components in the Google SketchUp, assigning individual components to the different pedals, and then creating an augmented reality presentation. And through that, through experience, again, active learning, through experience, learning basically how the systems interact. What I didn't show you is the 3D prints of the models again. But this is, again, this is not something, you have various different ways of 3D printing. One is the 3D printing that they have in systems engineering, which we haven't tried yet, we will. And to be perfectly honest, we're planning to buy our own 3D mini printer for our own purposes, which will be much, much smaller than what they have in systems engineering. The other thing, and this is another American company, Zebra Imaging, is the, how do they call it? Let me see, maybe it says here. It's a holographic print. And again, it's something that I got, most of the stuff, these holographic prints that I got from them are for free because they simply want to spread the message about what they're doing and outside of the United States. But even if you go down the route of printing them, it's very easy. You have to have the right format. You upload it online. You send it to America, and then they send it back to you. And basically, what you get is, I mean, you have to try it. You have to come closer and try it. But basically, what you get is the three-dimensional holographic print, where you can see, in this case, it's a building. It's a lab building where you can see various different levels depending on how you rotate the building.